Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video where we will be talking about my 2023 goals. And this is pretty much going to be my goals for my collection and for my content. Now, there should be a makeup resolutions video before this one. It was the tag that Mel Thompson created and Kelsey Brianna J and Samantha March brought back. But I felt like after doing that tag, I still didn't really get a chance to talk about my goals overall because the questions didn't really encompass everything that I wanted to talk about. So I decided to create a separate video just talking about the goals that I have for my collection and for my content. Also so that I could have something in like video format so that, you know, halfway through the year I can revisit, see if I'm on track and, you know, just hold myself accountable. So that being said, if this is your first time watching me, welcome. I'm Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and skincare, but I particularly and especially love sharing tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Okay, so let's just kind of dive into it. I did kind of make a little note on my goals because I also wanted to have something in writing so I wouldn't be rambling too much in this video. I don't think that this is going to be a super long video, but yeah, let's get into it. So first and foremost, when I was thinking about my goals for 2023, my mind immediately went into, okay, you need to create SMART goals because I'm a very analytical person. I used to do research back in the day or two. So, and SMART goals is it's actually an acronym. So it stands for specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant, and time bound. So it's a way in which you can create things that you can actually achieve, essentially. So I tried to create goals that are SMART, but they're also kind of broad in general. And I also tried to make sure that while I was developing this, I wasn't creating things that were just kind of like too big, too large, or too much goals. I think sometimes we go into the new year and we're like, oh, I want to do all of these long laundry list of things, and you just don't end up getting them done. And I'm trying to put this into perspective because the goals that I have for my collection and for my content are a small part of my larger life goals. So I really need to balance it out because I have goals for like my health and my fitness and all that other stuff and my career. So those I need to have enough time to do all of them, right? If that makes sense. Okay, so first things first, and this is an easy one. Well, is it easy? But it was an easy one for me to come up with. And it's basically that I want to use every single palette in my collection at least once. One of the things that I went into 2022 thinking about just generally was the fact that I have so much makeup. I had done several basket of shame videos at that point, and particularly eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow. It's like it's my favorite step in my routine. I love creating really colorful looks. I love playing in indie makeup and testing different formulas. And I don't know what happened between these last couple of years. Well, I do know. One, a lot of new brands were launched. There were lots of products being released, and there were just so much on the market, right? So with all of the new brands and the new formulas in the market, I just kind of got to the point where, oh, I want to try it and I want to try it all. So I found myself bringing in a ton of palettes. And what also happened with, you know, this year and even like the year before, well, 2022, 2021, is that brands were releasing products so much more frequently. Like there would be a new palette every day, multiple new palettes every day. And I got into this point where I was like, okay, I want to buy this to review. So I was purchasing things to review, but I was also buying things because they were on sale. Because with the market being oversaturated, there came so many sales. Y'all already know my channel is very focused on how to get the best deal, how to purchase products at a discount. So when you see a product go on sale, or there are these sort of large holiday type sales like 4th of July, Labor Day, I found myself accumulating so many palettes, more than I could actually use, more than I could review, because this is not my full-time job. So like I would purchase something, miss the kind of review window, and then it would sit there and I would not use it because it's on to the next thing. So I saw my basket of shame like grow exponentially, and I don't know, doing that last basket of shame video, I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this no more. I really can't. I can't keep creating products or accumulating products that are going to sit here and are going to go to waste. So for me, one of my huge, and this is probably goal number one, is that I want to use every single product that I have in my collection, every single palette that I have in my collection, And I want to do that for the, you know, the purpose of one, having tried everything so that I know, do I like this, do I not like this, so I can declutter things. I also did a makeup inventory and I have over 300 palettes. Nobody needs that many palettes. So I really want to make sure that I go through my collection, see the things that I have, figure out, do I still love this? Do I still want this? Am I still using it? And then if it's not, just release it. I'm in the year of release, I think, where I just want to let things go that aren't serving me. And I don't know if it was 2020 and I just felt like I needed to surround myself with things, but I feel now like I'm just cluttered in every single aspect. So having things that I spent money on that I'm not using just makes me mad at this point. You know what it is to watch something and know that you spend your good hard-earned money on it and you wouldn't touch it once? That irritates my soul to no end. So I really am hyper-focused on making sure that I use every single palette that I have in my collection, and after I've used all of it, figuring out whether this stays, whether this goes, so that I only have the products that I love. And I know that that is a goal for many of you guys as well, because I've heard from so many of you all that for 2023, you just want to use the collection that you have. You want to love the products that you have and just keep with that. So let's be accountability buddies and let's hold each other accountable so that we're not just constantly buying the new and we're really loving on our collection and using all of the products that we have. So the second goal kind of relates to the first one and what I just talked about, and that is I am setting a monthly budget for myself. So my goal is to spend no more than $100 per month on makeup. I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway with skincare because I don't tend to go as crazy with skincare as I do with makeup. So I'm usually very well structured when it comes to skincare anyway. But makeup, like, it can go real crazy. Because if there is a sale, what I find is that I see myself spending more and more money because, oh, it's on sale, I get 50% off and whatnot. And just because something is on sale doesn't mean you need to buy it. And I know I say that all the time, and I know I say that there will always be another sale, but I too get caught in the trap of like, this is actually a good price, let me buy it now because it's 50% off, plus I have a coupon to do this. No. And in order to counteract that sort of desire to shop, I'm giving myself this $100 budget every month where it's basically like, this is all you have to spend. If it's done, period. And I'm giving myself a little bit of flexibility in the rollover amount, but I also am not going to be like, okay, well, I have to spend this $100 every month. If I don't see anything that I want to purchase that month, I'm just not going to buy anything. And I think part of giving myself that budget is that it makes me stop and think. Because sometimes I'll see a product release, I'll have that initial hype of like, oh my gosh, that is amazing, that is beautiful, I need to have it. And then like a week later, I've forgotten completely about that product. So it does give me the opportunity to really pause, not get caught up in the hype of initial releases, and really think about if I want it. Because if I spend my $100 at the beginning of the month and something I really want releases at the end of the month, screwed, right? But I think it's going to be a really good sort of pause for me. I am trying to go back and forth. I'm going back and forth in my head on the rollover component of it, because what I want to do is to have a $100 limit, period. And what that would mean for me is that if I buy something in January that costs $50, I don't get to roll over that extra $50 into February. That means that February I still have $100. And that is kind of where my mind is leaning right now, because I don't want to get caught in the trap of like, oh, well, I didn't buy anything in January, so that means I have $200 to spend in February, and I just buy things for the sake of it. I don't want to get caught in that trap. I really want to give myself okay, you have $100 in January, you only spent $50, great. You can take that $50, put it into savings, put it into something else. And if I spend the $100 in February, also fine. But like, I don't want to get caught into like, well, I'll roll over my $20 here and whatnot. So that is where I'm leaning to right now. I think I'm going to try that for the first couple of months, and then we'll see if I need to adjust. And as with everything, all of these goals are not meant to be like hard rock unmovable. I will adjust as my life changes and things shift, because that's, that's life. Priorities shift, things shift, money shift. So like, I'm giving myself the flexibility and reminding myself to come back and like reflect on these goals periodically, so that I don't, forget about it, or like I'm not taking into account that so much can happen within a year. I'm saying these things in January so that, come March, come August, I can like come back and be like, okay, is this working for you? Has it been working for you? How do we adjust? How do we make this better? So those pretty much are the 2 goals that I have for my collection. Other than that, you guys know I want to use up my collection. That's just basically what it comes down to. Use the products that I have, try not to buy too much more, and just like empty a lot of the things that I have in my collection. Now I do have some content specific goals and just some goals for my platforms. First and foremost, I do want to have a somewhat consistent schedule in which I upload 2 to 3 videos a week. One of the things with this not being my full-time job is that I film when I can, I edit when I can, I upload when I can. I know this comes as no surprise, but creating content is not easy. It takes a lot of time. And granted, it's not the most difficult job in the world by any means. And if I were doing this full-time, I would have a lot of playtime. But the fact that filming can take an hour, editing can take another hour, doing the uploading and filling in the description box and creating the thumbnails, all of those things take time, especially if you are not sort of farming that out. I can't afford to pay other people to do that for me. So for me, it comes down to if I have 30 minutes here to do this, an hour here to do that, that's how I get things done, which is why I don't have a consistent schedule where videos will go up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't commit to doing that, but I feel like I've gotten to the point where I have been able to expedite some of the processes for creating content in a way that I can film, upload, and just have content out 2 to 3 times a week. I think that I can commit to that. And part of that was kind of letting go of the idea that this needs to be perfect. Like, it doesn't do me any favors to compare myself to creators who do this full time, because like I said, a lot of them do have the luxury of farming out certain things because it is, part of their business. It's a business expense. They can, incorporate all of that by hiring someone to do editing, hiring someone to help them with thumbnails and all the other stuff. I can't. And I don't have the ability to do that. So, I'm taking all of that into account. So I have to let go of the idea that I'm going to create this perfect content with the best transitions, because I don't have the time to sit there and figure out every transition and all of this other stuff. Do I want to get better in my editing skills? Yeah, and that will come with time and practice, but I can't devote the level that some other people can, because I have a full-time job that I need to do, and 2 other priorities and other things that I want to divert some of my time into. And that is going to be a huge sort of shift for me in 2023, is that a huge chunk of my time that I spent creating content is going to be diverted into doing the other things that I want to do in my life. And that doesn't mean my content is going to decrease or become worse in quality. It just means that I'm going to become better at time management. One of the things that was just very evident in 2020 and 2021 was that I was not managing my time very well. Even 2022, I did not have a schedule that allowed me to prioritize the other things that I need to prioritize, like my health, my family, my friends. I just did not prioritize that very well. So time management is going to become a real focal point of me in 2023, because I have no intentions of letting go of creating content or making my content, be lower quality or less frequently, but I need to be able to do that and do the other things that I just have to do at this point. So time management is going to be a big shift for me, but the overarching goal is I'm going to do 2 to 3 videos a week. The next goal that I have is, it might be a reach goal, but honestly, I'm really trying to push for this, is that I want to hit a minimum of 4,000 subscribers. At this point, I am at 2K, kind of 2 years into my platform. And I really want to continue to grow and figure out what it takes to grow on here. One of the things that I've been doing when it comes to creating content is that I've just been creating content. I really have not paused to think about what my analytics is saying, really learning how to, I don't want to say trend on YouTube, but really learning how to get into the Google search engine in a way that my content pops up. Now, it's no surprise that the search engines are very biased. I already know that I am going in at a disadvantage as a person of color. We already know that it's harder for our videos to be shown. It's harder for people to find our videos. It's harder to find creators of color. We know that we're going in with a disadvantage. So I already have that in my mind. But I do think that in order for me to have my content be shared more broadly, to grow, have more subscribers, I need to spend a little bit of time figuring out what it is I need to do whether it's changing up my thumbnails, changing up my titles and the tags that I use so that I get more eyes on my content. And that is just something that I have not been able to devote time to, because my focus had always been on like, okay, just put up more videos, be consistent, make sure you're uploading, because the more you upload, the more you get subscribers. And yes, that's 100% a part of it. Consistency definitely helps the algorithm, but there's just more to do when you're a creator of color, because the algorithm is working against you. And that is the piece that I want to dive a little bit into. I want to dig into my analytics a little bit more. I want to connect with you guys a little bit more. See what kind of content you all are interested in, what you're responding really well to, what's not doing really well, so that I can tweak my content as needed. The next goal that I have is that I want to do 3 to 4 creator collabs in 2023. I like collabing. I like people. Half of the reason why I have a platform is because I wanted to talk to people. I am a very chatty pussy. I'm a huge extrovert. And connecting with people is one of the things that I've always liked about YouTube. And I love watching collabs between creators, because I think you get so many different perspectives. You get to learn about new creators. And I feel like there was a point where people were doing collabs just for the sake of growth. And now collabs don't help you grow as quickly or as large as they did in the past. But because it's not the biggest form of growth now, just doing collabs, I think that we're seeing more genuine collabs from creators where they just want to work with another creator. And I really appreciate that. I think that the collabs are now less about growing and more about just having fun and doing something with another creator. And I have done a ton of collabs on my channel, but I would like to engage 3 or 4 new creators that I have never worked with before. And it does take a little bit of something to like put yourself out there and ask someone to do a collab with you, especially when you are a smaller creator. Because I think some creators will often assume that, oh, this is for clout, this is for you to like just mooch off of my subscribers. But it may not even be that. Like, you just like that person, like their content, would love to collab. So like, I've always been like hesitant about doing that, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm coming off as like, oh, well, you have more subscribers than me, so like I just want to like gain following from you, because that's never the case at all. You know, I watch so many different creators on so many different platforms, so many different content that they put out, and I'm just like, yo, that person just seems dope as hell, and I would love to, you know, do a video with them. So I'm going to challenge myself to put myself out there and just ask, because honestly, you just never know. And that's what it comes down to, is that I could either sit here and be worried that they're going to feel some kind of way or think I'm doing it for some sort of like ulterior motive, or I could just ask. And if they say no, they say no. If they say yes, they say yes. Like, that's what it comes down to. And I'm really pushing myself to do that more. I am a very extroverted person, but I am also someone that has feelings. So, you know, I did have a little bit of hesitancy going into it, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to ask and see who's willing or interested in working with me, and we'll go from there. And on the same vein of just asking, the next goal that I have is that I want to engage 1 to 2 new brands. I have been so grateful for the brands that have offered to work with me in 2022, that have sent me PR, that have just sort of appreciated my content and reached out in a way that just felt authentic and genuine. Like, Sydney Grace is one of those brands that they just sent me PR for no reason. And I had way less subscribers, way less followers on Instagram at the time. And I was just so like touched by that. And they have always been just very just sort of nice in their engagement with me. There have been no expectations, no sort of like strings tied to it. They just sent me PR for the sake of PR. And there have been other brands that have done that as well. And I've been really grateful that I've been able to work with like brands like Dossier and Ana Luisa, which I love. You know, like, I really do enjoy the Dossier fragrances, you guys. And I have gifted it to my family, and they love it as well. And the Ana Luisa products I really enjoy. And I have spent hundreds of dollars of my own money buying their products. And honestly, these earrings and this chain has been my like go-to for the last like couple weeks. So I have been really enjoying that. And I appreciate like bigger brands sort of seeing the value in smaller creators and reaching out and offering to work with, you know, creators like me. Because you guys see, my size is small, very, very small. And one of the things with working with brands is that, yes, there are going to be brands that are going to reach out to you and offer to work with you. But there are going to be brands that are just not going to do that. And I have talked to some other creators, one specifically, Taylor. She's on Instagram. She's like the sweetest person. And I remember when she was much smaller, I asked her, like, you know, how do you like connect with brands? And she literally said, I just reach out, I ask. And that really stuck with me, because I'm like, you know what? Why not ask? Why not put myself out there? Like I said in like the previous 2 goals, you know, as a black creator, as a creator of color, as a darker creator, it's already harder for me. The brands aren't seeing my content. It's not being platformed the way other creators are being platformed. So they have no idea who I am for the most part. So what harm does it do for me to, you know, go to their website, figure out who the, you know, social media manager is, or whatever it is, and just send them an email and say, hey, this is who I am. This is the content that I create. These are my platforms. I would love the opportunity to work with you. Please let me know. And I really want to push myself to do that. I actually did do some of that in 2022, where I just reached out to brands and said, hey, like, I'm here. If you want swatches, if you want this, like, I'm available. And I want to do that more in 2023 and actually engage at least, you know, 1 to 2 brands. You know, I'm setting my goal small because it is hard. It does take a lot of work, but I am pushing myself to do that as well. You know, like, you know, do the piece with like reaching out to creators, but also do the piece of reaching out to brands and brands that I love and trust, and like, well, not trust, because these brands be trifling, but brands that I love their products and I would love to be able to feature it. So that is one of my goals. And honestly, those 2 that I just mentioned are probably the scariest goals of like this entire bunch. Okay, 2 goals left. The next thing that I really want to do is that I want to get back to creating the true crime content that I initially kind of previewed this year. Fun fact, if you didn't know, I'm a huge true crime fan. I love true crime. I listen to so many true crime podcasts. I watch so many documentaries, so many series, all of that. I'm like deeply engrossed in the true crime landscape. It's not something that I talk about a lot on my platform, but it is something that I did a couple of sort of makeup and murder type of videos, and I want to do a couple more. And I've been thinking about what that looks like, because the reality is, while I do enjoy true crime, it does take a certain level of there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with telling these stories and making sure that you are appropriately representing and respecting the victims, because while they are interesting and fascinating, I want to make sure that I'm telling it in the most respectful manner. So I have been going back and forth on what my content could look like in that vein, because the reality is it takes a lot of work in terms of research and scripting to do these videos, and I already said that I need to figure out my time. So I feel like going into 2023, 1, I want to do those videos like every other month, so I give myself a little bit of leeway. But 2, I think I want to shift from sort of telling the story to maybe being a little bit more reactionary to like documentaries. For example, Casey Anthony just came out with a new documentary on Peacock. It's a 3-part limited series talking about, I don't know, I guess it's her perspective. And I have thoughts on that. And I feel like instead of me like retelling the Casey Anthony story, I can react to that documentary where it's a little bit less scripting. It's more like, well, this is what I saw, this is how I felt. And that could be a way in which I can do the true crime without it being too much. Now, I do have to play around with that a little bit. Let me know what you guys think, because I want to get your opinion on it. And the other thing that I want to do when it comes to that true crime content is that there are so many stories that exist about victims that don't look like me. And I don't want to get into the trap of I'm only telling these stories of these white victims, these white perpetrators. Like, I really want to find and share and react to these stories that not a lot of people know about. The people of color who are victims, the people of color who are perpetrators, because there are Black serial killers. There are Black, all of these. So, like, I want to make sure that my content isn't just sort of rehashing the most popular or the, like, you know, trendy true crime stories. And I'm really diving into some of these other ones, which I've heard a lot about because, like I said, I live deep in this true crime space. So I have been following a lot of these stories for a very long time. I've watched more documentaries than I can count. So I know some of these stories of, like, victims and perpetrators of color. So I would love to do some more of that in my true crime telling. And then the last goal that I have for 2023 is that I want to try new types of content. when I was creating this channel, I remember going back and forth on names, and I settled on I Am Jamila because I specifically did not want to box myself into just doing beauty content. Now, I know that I'm not going to be somebody that vlogs their daily life because I really don't have the time or the like interest, I should say, in doing that. I am very much a type who likes to just live in the moment and enjoy life. So a lot of times when I go to events and I do things, I don't take pictures, I don't take videos because I'm just enjoying myself. I'm having a time. So I don't think I'll ever be like a full-time like vlogger, just like vlogging life, because I just feel like it takes away from being in the moment and enjoying it. But I do want to experiment with different forms of content, especially when it comes to things outside of makeup, because I haven't done pretty much anything outside of makeup, but I would like to incorporate other parts of my life into my channel. And then when it comes to the makeup side of things, I really do want to think about what are the ways in which I can create content that gets views, that gets traction, that allows me to use my collection. Because the reality is that the videos that get views are the ones that are featuring new products, that are featuring hauls and you know, that type of stuff. So I already said that I'm not going to be like buying a ton of makeup, so I don't think I'll have any hauls really to share. And two, I'm not going to be chasing the new to review it. If I do get a product in PR, I will probably do a video on it. But as you already know, this isn't my full-time job, so sometimes I can't be the first review out there because it might show up in the middle of the week and I film on Saturdays and Sundays. So there's all of that to take into account. So if, where you all can be helpful is by letting me know down in the comments below what type of content that you want to see. What is something new, fresh, or even not new that you want to see that I can think about incorporating into my content. Because that's really, really important to me. Okay, and that is pretty much it, guys. That is sort of my goals, my 2023 goals for my content and for my collection. So let me know down below what your goals are for your content and collection, and like I said, what you would like to see from me going into the new year, because this is a year of reset, refresh, new beginnings, and just sort of just reevaluating life, really. but it's a year to really like reinvent what I was doing and improve and just be better. Okay, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to leave your comment down below letting me know what you want to see. As always, thank you guys so very much for watching. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much for all of the support. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!